Okay, so this is Jeremiah 18, part 2. Therefore, this is what the Lord says. Inquire among the nations. Who has ever heard anything like this? A most horrible thing has been done by virgin Israel. Does the snow of Lebanon ever vanish from its rocky slopes? Do its cool waters from distant sources ever stop flowing? Yet my people have forgotten me. They burn incense to worthless idols, which made them stumble in their ways, in the ancient paths. They made them walk in byways on roads not built up. So again, the snow is being referred to the people there, okay? And that's why in popular culture, people say things like that's cold and so on and so forth. Look, I don't care if you're from the coldest place on the planet, okay? I judge people according to the content of their character. But people are breaking down in terms of racial groups, and they're giving me a hard time for pointing this out. If you are you loyal to God or your race, whether they worship the devil or not? That's what you have to decide. The only Jews who are offended by what I'm saying are people who are loyal to their race, okay, even if they worship the devil, which everyone and their mom is doing these days. Okay, so these are people who are self-professed in their own way, self-proclaimed in a sense, at least they're self-proclaimed Satanists. Okay, so who cares if they're offended or not? It's not racial, it's philosophical offense and not racial offense. Okay, spiritual and so on and so forth. It's good versus evil. They're offended because they're evil. Any of the Jews who are offended. And they're even fuming me right now. I mean, it's pretty clear cut that someone like me should be allowed to say this. In fact, it should be illegal for me not to say this. This is God's orders coming through me. So it's against God's law for me not to say this. Okay? And to hell with anyone's opinion, any website's laws, and any person's laws. Your mere human rules mean nothing to a man of God. Okay. Yet my people have forgotten me. They burn incense to worthless idols, which made them stumble in their ways in the ancient paths. They made them walk in byways on roads not built up. And these are ancient paths that go before Nimrod even. These paths are there, right? Noah and Abel, okay, and so on and so forth, okay? And Nimrod was a mighty warrior before the Lord. So it's a mighty warrior path. Exodus 15:3, Genesis 10, Isaiah 42:13, Psalm 24, Psalm 18, Psalm 19, Psalm 89, right? God anointed a warrior, right? Why did it go out of its way to say God anointed a warrior? Their land will be an object of horror and of lasting scorn. All who pass by will be appalled and will shake their heads. Like a wind from the east, I will scatter them before their enemies. I will show them my back and not my face in the day of their disaster. So again, in Proverbs 34, it says, whose hands have gathered up the wind? Who holds the winds in their fists, right? This wind is scattering their spirit, their souls, right? And scattering them before their enemies. So it's a martial wind, right? A warrior spirit. Okay. They said, come, let's make plans against Jeremiah, for the teaching of the law by the priest will not cease, nor will counsel from the wise, nor the word from the prophets. So come, let us attack him with our tongues and pay no attention to anything he says. Listen to me, Lord. Hear what my accusers are saying. Should good be repaid with evil? Yet they have dug a pit for me. Remember that I stood before you and spoke on their behalf to turn your wrath away from them. So in my life, of course, I've prayed from people, that they would find the Lord. I've said to people, I hope that you find God's path before it is too late. I hope you obey God through me before it's too late and stop focusing on me as a person and focus on it as an order from God. Okay? It doesn't matter if God told you to obey a turtle. You shouldn't be offended that it's me. I'm the top martial artist ever. Why would you be offended by that if you're really a man, if you really value God? Why would you reject that order? Okay. So should the righteousness of the top martial arts ever be repaid with evil and shunning by attractive females and them telling me to lower my scale and them harassing me and gays trying to catfish me and all this persecution, this fuming and poisoning and all this stuff that's happening? Okay? So he said, remember, I stood up for them. I spoke to you on their behalf to turn your wrath away from them. So give their children over to famine. Hand them over to the power of the sword. Let their wives be made childless and widows. Let their men be put to death, their young men slain by the sword in battle. Let a cry be heard from their houses when you suddenly bring invaders against them, for they have dug a pit to capture me and have hidden snares for my feet. Behold, I come like a thief in the night. So the awareness that they shouldn't have betrayed God, right? God reveals that they should have obeyed him, that his path is right, when all these horrible Babylonians, which is the whole world right these days, okay, are persecuting people and persecuting each other. But you, Lord, know all their plots to kill me. Do not forgive their crimes or blot out their sins from your sight. Let them be overthrown before you. Deal with them in the time of your anger. Which also means, when these rich people who seem to be, getting off easy, they've been set apart to be punished more than everyone else, basically. So when they die, for sure, they're going to suffer to the extreme. Okay? No one's escaping Judgment Day. No one's escaping Armageddon, so to speak. No one's escaping the apocalypse. No one's escaping the final judgment of God and the process of marshaling their souls to hell, okay? Except for those who obey God through me in time, and no one's supposed to reproduce no matter what.